Hey, what's going on? This is Ruuts, and this is Virtual Strangers review discussion of Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs. And so let's go ahead and discuss this. Wes, how's your night going?
It's great, man. It's the weekend. Weekend's always good, always welcome in my household.
Yeah, I love the weekend, dude. Fridays, man. This game actually came out in 2009, December 11th, originally on Android, and pretty much everybody's played Angry Bird, my assumption anyway. And if we're all honest, that we've spent a lot of time in the bathroom playing it, and we'll leave it there. It's just one of those games, but it's a puzzle game, and it was developed initially by Rovio Entertainment, and made its VR debut February 7th, 2019 by Resolution Games. And thank God this game came, because it is a treat. So Wes, tell me what type of game this is.
Well, first of all, for those of you out there who play Angry Birds or played it on mobile, it's Angry Birds in VR. Now that said, I'm one of the few that did not play Angry Birds on mobile, on the toilet, or anywhere else before this game was released.
Oh wow!
So
man.
basically, it's a, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's kind of a, I mean, if you want to get technical about it, it's technically a puzzle game. There are these structures that are built in front of you, and they're manned by these evil pigs. Technically, the point of the game is to kill the pigs, but the way you do so is by firing these birds out of a slingshot into their structure. And no matter how big, tall, and elaborate their structures get, there's always a weak point. So the point of the game is to find the weak point. So if I had to put a genre on it, I would call it a trial and error puzzler.
Yeah. I like the way that you have multiple viewpoints you can teleport to, because that's the key, is like you'll see a chink in the armor, and like who doesn't want to kill those pigs, because they're taunting you the whole time, they're laughing at you, you know. I kind of take it personally. Now which bird is your favorite bird? If you had to pick one of them, like your go-to, if you were able to choose, which obviously you can't, but which is your favorite?
Well, obviously, I love the destructive power of Bomb, but that said, I gotta say, Chuck's probably my man, the yellow bird.
Yeah.
Each bird has their own specific abilities. There are 4 of them. The red one's just a normal bird, just a regular projectile. Chuck, the yellow bird, you fire him off, and then at whatever point you choose during his flight, you pull the trigger, and he gets a speed burst, which allows him to penetrate a little better. There's a little blue bird that can split into 3 like a shotgun spread shot. And then there's a Bomb, self-explanatory there. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Chuck's my favorite.
Yeah, I like Chuck. He is pretty cool. And I was just telling you before we started, I like the way they look when you're like grab the slingshot and you pull it away, and you're looking down the barrel of the slingshot, and they're all angry, and so you get why they're, you know, they're all peaceful when they're on the platform. They're waving, they're doing, you know, hey, what's going on, you know. But when they get on there, they're all business, man. They want to destroy some shit, and Ruuts loves destroying stuff as well. So this is a good match for me. I'm not really into puzzle games too much, but this is oddly like compelling. You can't stop almost. I want to keep going. Do you find the same addiction, as I guess is what I would call it?
I do now, having made it into the later stages and completed the game. Initially, really my only complaint with this game, period, is how slow it progresses. It's split up, the initial base game before the update, which we'll get to the update in a minute. The initial base game is split up into 4 levels. Each level has 13 stages, and the first stage is very basic. The structures are only made out of wood. There's only the red bird is all you have to attack it with. And I get it. They wanted to teach you, give you some time to learn the game, but it progresses very slowly. The environment's very plain. The gameplay's very one-dimensional. And when I first started, I was kind of underwhelmed. But as I kept going, slowly, it began to get better. And by the time you beat the second level and move into the third, it starts to get fun. You start to have structures that are made out of ice and stone, and you start to have access to all the different birds I just laid out. And yeah, by the time I got through it, and now into the later levels and even into the update, even to a greater extent, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's challenging and very, very addicting. And like you said, once you get started, you don't really want to stop.
Yeah, it's exactly how I feel now. My biggest gripe, I think, would be with the birds, in a sense, not with the ones that exist, but with the 4 birds that don't exist. I feel like there should be 8 birds. Like, I want one that, does all. I just want some more options, either that or just variations. And we were talking about, I really think would be cool, like when you finish the game, it lets you like it restarts it to where like maybe it gives you all bombs, or it just changes the birds up, and you could replay the entire game in a different form, because everything's about those birds. Like, you can look at something and say, oh man, I wish I had a bomb. You don't, dude. You got the shitty red one, like you're just a regular projectile, so you have to make it work. But the second time you go through, maybe you got Chuck, and so you have to go from a different angle, or maybe it's Ice Wall and you want to use the blue guy, or like, just change it up. I'm in it, granted, considering they just added an extra update DLC, it's not like they're slacking, but that's just a suggestion, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I get it. This is a fun game, and you always would like to have more. I would like to have, there's a few things they could do. A new game plus, where you can swap the order of the birds that they give you, would be a fun variation. Another variation would be like a free play mode, where they take all of the established structures that they've already programmed for the game and put a randomizer behind them. Endless play. You don't know what structure is going to pop up in front of you. And so one comes up randomly. You have access to all 4 birds. You can grab whichever one you want and just play forever. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Now, you were telling me you've never played VR Furballs, correct?
That's correct. I've never played that.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects in that game that I would love in this one. But obviously this is strictly a slingshot. You're not going to see a tennis racket or something, or a baseball bat. But there's so many levels in that one, and the only reason I bring that up is when this game first was released, that was one of the biggest gripes, and I think they're doing a really good job of changing that and adding these levels. And so now maybe VR Furballs isn't as good as it used to be, or not that it's not good, it just doesn't have that as much over Angry Birds, because Angry Birds is starting to get a lot more levels. So
yeah, I played through the new spooky update today. I played it on my Oculus Quest, actually, and playing on the Quest is cool. Not only because, I've played a lot of ports on Oculus Quest, and this is one of the best. It's really indistinguishable from the PC version of it. Now, you can tell a little bit of difference, like in the menu screen. If you stare far off onto the island, it's a little, got a little shimmer to it. But really, I only saw that because I was looking for it. Very much a one-to-one port of this game in the Quest, but now you have the advantages of the Quest. You have that tether's gone. So whereas on the PC version, you're teleporting from one node to the other to try to get the perfect angle on it. Now all of a sudden there is no tether. You can just walk around the structure and pick where you want to fire that thing off. Now some people may not want to do that. They may consider it to be cheating, but it's really cool. One of the few games I actually prefer to play on Quest. But to what you were just talking about, the level diversity, I played the Spooky update today, and what this is, I thought it was going to be all new levels, and basically it is, but it's more of a redesign of the 4 existing levels with this spooky Halloween skin pulled over it. Now that said, the difficulty progression picks up right where the first 4 left off. So the very first puzzle in the spooky levels is more difficult than anything in the original game. The structures are big and intricate. They introduce new block types. There are these block types now that they put in there as an object that you don't want to hit in most cases. Like there's blocks that will turn wood to stone or turn stone to ice, which can make things more complicated or easier depending on how you use them. But I think it's awesome because what it does is it just adds another layer of variability to the puzzle. It's another thing for you to be thinking about when you're playing. And with the new levels, this game has gone from a game that I like to a game that I really like. I really had a load of fun playing the spooky levels, and it really changed the way I think about this game.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things I saw in the spooky levels a lot, as well as like a lot more technicality, as far as like you need to hit or you can, if you hit this, like there's a chain reaction. I watched like a lot of things happen. Like it fell down, it blew this up, then it fell and blew that up, then this box opened and this thing came out with a balloon, and I'm like, oh my god. And there's just so many ways that it just made it really cool. So I agree, the spooky update is very good. Now you implanted something in my head, and I got a bone to pick with you, because you were telling me yesterday, I think it was, that you just have to get 3 stars, and so I went in today for the second spooky update, and all of a sudden I feel like I need to get 3 stars, you know. And some of these are hard, dude, like even just passing them. I don't know, did you run into any that were like you spent several attempts and you're like, man, this is now like almost ridiculous, and then I passed it by accident? A couple of them anyway.
Yeah. I didn't adhere to that as much playing through the spooky levels as I did before. I was recording it, making a video. By the way, if you're interested in seeing me play the spooky levels, click that link right there. But I kind of had to let that fall to the wayside. As soon as I beat the level, what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to take one more shot to try to get a better score. And it is what it is, and I would move on. But yeah, what you're saying before, so on my first playthrough of the initial levels, very much the case. For the most part, I didn't have much trouble getting the 3 stars, but occasionally you run into that one level that you may get close. You may get the bar paper thin close to the mark to get 3 stars, but you just can't make it. And yeah, I'd say there are some of these levels that I played 50 times or better trying to get a better score.
Yeah, they just really did a good job of making it, you know, not too hard but hard enough. And I just really enjoy it, and I think it's definitely worth the price of admission. Right, I think it's going for $15, correct?
Oh yeah, $15, and a great, especially on Oculus Quest, because obviously you're going to be using your Oculus Quest to demo VR to new users. And as you said before, most people have played Angry Birds. They know Angry Birds, and this is going to be something, You know, normally there's a learning curve to VR. This is going to be something that you can put on someone. They're going to be able to pick it up and play it right away. There's no locomotion, so there's not going to be any sickness. And it's colorful and it looks great in VR. And yeah, I think it's I think $15 is a more than fair price for it. And if you have an Oculus Quest, you probably should pick it up today.
Let me ask you this. Did you cheat at all? Like, because you're on the Quest and you're like, man, this is a ridiculous one. I'm just going to step up and get a really good shot on this.
I've a couple of times initially when I first got it on the Quest months ago, or maybe weeks ago. I don't remember at this point how long it's been. I'm thinking it's been a couple of months ago I got it for the Quest. But just to play around with it and see what it's like to fire from the different angles, I did it a couple of times. But anytime that I've been seriously sitting down trying to progress through the game, I want to do it by the rules. I want to get my 3 stars the way that it was intended. So for the most part, I play this game seated and I don't move around at all.
Yeah. Well, I was watching this. The one thing the original games didn't have is they never had bosses. And that's what I think is pretty cool at the end of every stage, the boss that you have to beat. Because they're also difficult. And I just love the way this is going down there in that video. It's just crazy. It's just crazy chaos. It looks good. It sounds good. It's very high production value. So I think that's pretty much everything on this game. It's definitely recommended by both Wes and myself. And yeah, just pick it up. $15, not too much. And so much so that I went out and picked up an extra copy on the Rift, just so that I could not have to wait on Justin's busy library. So it's worth it, man. This game is good. I
agree wholeheartedly.
But
it's a excellent game. It was a good game. They've updated it. They've got 2 more updates planned. I spoke with the one of the team there at Resolution Games, or I guess I messaged through email, and they told me way back when that the initial plan was for there to be eventually over 100 levels on it, and they're almost there. So yeah, there's 26 more to come, and what is this, probably close to 100 now on it, right?
Yeah, look at that. That is amazing. 3 stars. But yeah, so it's definitely a must-have in my opinion. And they just unlocked spooky mode and we're done here. That's kind of sad, actually. If you like the video, then go ahead and subscribe and join our Discord, and we will check you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yep.
See you later.
Bye.